Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and I'm headed out to till a garden right now. And it's been kind of a long day. It's been kind of a bad day. And as I trying to make it through this day, all day I was thinking that I committed to tilling this garden for someone. I'm getting paid $60 to do this, and I already had to reschedule it once because something else changed and I didn't get there. So I really want to get this done today, to do what I told the person I said I was going to do. And so my plan's been to go till that garden and tell the story about, tilling that garden and maybe look at my garden. And just as I've been thinking through the day, I decided to tell a different story. And some videos are more just me sharing my thoughts, and some are about the work I'm doing. But tonight, mainly I'm just going to give my thoughts on this. So I think it's about 6 o'clock. It gets dark at 8. Got to load the tractor onto the trailer and get over there and get that tilled. And we'll do a little footage of that. But mainly I want to talk to you about all of us, myself included, should look for opportunities to show people grace. Because life's really hard. It's hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for you too. So I just want to talk about that a little bit as we go through. So let's get started. So one of the things that made me decide to make a video like this talking about this is I was sitting there in front of my daughter's car a minute ago, and as you guys could probably notice, it's just been wrecked. And she hit a deer, and we've got 2 new vehicles and we've got 2 teenagers. So our insurance, car insurance, is $750 a month. And if we had full coverage on those cars, it'd be over $1,000 a month. And, that's my own situation I put myself in, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. But the point there was, we only had liability insurance on that car. And I don't know what I'm going to do about it. It's probably just going to be sold for scrap, I guess. But my daughter was pretty traumatized by it. She's about to turn 16, and the airbag went off, and she was on the highway. She hit this deer, and it was very traumatic for her. She has a learner's permit, and I was with her, and she was just screaming. And we're on the highway, and I said, she stopped the car. I said, honey, you got to get off the highway. She's screaming at the top of her lungs. She goes, I can't drive. I can't move the car. I can't drive. I can't see. And I said, I understand all of that, but we're directly on the highway. You've got to move over just 6 feet, and get off of the road so that we can deal with what's happening here. And she was pretty traumatized, and she's still traumatized by it. And of course, she's at school telling her friends about it, and she was kind of made fun of and made it a lot worse. And that was one thing that got me thinking about showing people grace, because she was teased about being overly dramatic about it because no one was hurt. And also, they were calling her a rich kid. Somehow they have this idea that we're wealthy, which is not true at all. I have no idea how we're going to fix that car or get her another car. I don't have the money for it. But that's not the point either. Really, the other thing that got me thinking about is being grateful in whatever situation you're in, because I'm upset because I say, man, this is something else to deal with. And then you might be able to see it in the corner here. There's my son's car parked in front of the garage, and it looks like the transmission may have went out on that car today. And, you know, I'm kind of feeling bad, like this is a rough break. I hate that. Well, somewhere, probably the same day, someone's daughter was in an accident and didn't come home. So, you know, maybe it's always an opportunity to think there's people somewhere with worse problems than what you're dealing with. And so anytime you think about, you know, judging someone or criticizing someone, just think you have no idea what they might be going through, and that a lot of people are probably going through a lot worse things than I am, or than you are. And life's hard for everyone. So just where my mind's at today, and if I'm gonna share my life with you guys every day, then wherever I'm thinking, whatever's on my mind, I'm gonna tell you about it. Kind of ironic that I was talking about life being hard, and I actually mentioned at the beginning what I was being paid to till that garden, and the woman that I was doing the garden for asked me like 3 times if I was sure that was enough money, what I was charging. I said, well, it's, you know, it's 35 minutes away. This thing doesn't get great gas mileage, you know, traveling all that way, and when you really think about it, it wasn't enough money. But I always think, what would I like to be paid, and what can people afford to pay me? And I have a tendency to undercharge, and I'm not bragging about it. It's just, that's just what happens. I don't know why I'm like that. So she asked me several times through messages, are you sure that's enough money? And she asked me again when I got there, and I said, when we first talked, I told you a price, and I'm not changing the price. Now, if you want to give me a tip, you're welcome to do that. And she paid me twice what I asked for. And, you know, I said thank you, and I said, you know, I really appreciate it. I'm always afraid of overcharging people. And she said, well, if you do the right thing, it usually comes around to you. And felt like it was just a kind of a nice little coincidence. But what I was talking about earlier, there's a couple different layers to. And the first one just relates to keeping everything in perspective. That while I've got a couple of cars broke down, it just means I have to chauffeur my kids around. And there's worse problems to have. I mean, I still have the ability to do it. And there are if you think of all of the human experience and what life might be like for people in some developing countries or urban areas in this country, or people who've never had much opportunity in life. Like, we grew up poor, but we never were worried about what we were going to eat. I try to keep perspective on the fact that while I may be worrying about some little problem, there are people who have a sick child or who just were diagnosed with some kind of a, you know, cancer or something like that that's a lot worse, and every one of those people would trade me problems right now. And that relates to the second conversation I was trying to have, which is about showing people grace. When you see someone in any situation, before you react to them, just if you have it in you that day, just think, you know, maybe this person's going through something. Or maybe it's not what it looks like. Or maybe they can't help it. For me, one way that manifests is in the comments on my videos. I've got hundreds and hundreds of people who watch these videos every day and are positive and supportive and tell me good job. And these people, I feel like you guys are family to me. And every day I look forward to those comments. And then you've got that small percentage of people who come on there and they're like, you're the world's biggest idiot. I'm like, okay. Those are people I'm talking about where I say, try to think before you say something like that. Let's break it down. What if I'm actually an idiot? Not much I can do about it. Like, some people didn't win the genetic lottery, right? But maybe that idiot's got a big heart. Maybe they're great with their family. Maybe we're not all the same, and that's okay. But the other part of that is, maybe you don't understand. Maybe I'm trying to accomplish something different. Maybe I'm in the learning phase of this, and you could teach me something by talking with compassion and saying, I understand what you're trying to do, but here's a few things. And I've had two different people tell me that they thought they were giving a helpful comment and I took it the wrong way and snapped back at them, or, you know, maybe I was having a bad day and didn't react right. So I just think about it whenever you encounter anyone, if you've got that opportunity to take a breath and decide how you want to handle something, show grace if you can. So the last thing I want to say is there was a big argument where people were cussing at each other and really getting after each other, and the argument was about how I make money and how much money I have. And this was in the Facebook comments. And I was demonstrating some type of sponsored product. And I get stuff. So like this tractor, I paid $52,000. I didn't pay anything, actually. I took out a $52,000 loan to get this tractor with like 10 attachments. And now I pay $650 a month or something. And that was a choice I made. that I'm now paying for. And, you know, tonight, this tractor made me a little bit of money. But the toolbox hanging on it cost $100 and some, but I didn't pay for it. Company wanted me to show it, hoping that maybe you guys might want a toolbox for your tractor. And it's an interchangeable toolbox. It can go on the tool holder for the chainsaw. It's a cool little system, right? I didn't need it. It's cool. I like it. I'm glad I have it. But I can't pay my electric bill with it. And I've done a few sponsored products lately. The little gas caddy that I showed yesterday, I didn't pay for that. But it's not the same as income. So I get paid to make videos, and I love making these videos. I love demonstrating what I'm doing and the work I do. But what you see on camera, when you watch a YouTube channel and everything is 100% positive, my life's perfect, everything I have is perfect, look at me, I'm the best, I guarantee those people are struggling with something in their lives. And so when you see those people, just realize that there's probably more behind the scenes than what you see. And let's all try to show each other a little bit of grace. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.